A very good evening and welcome to a brand new edition of News First Weekend, coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Arundhati Mudannaika. Let's start off with a look at your stories making headlines this evening.
Immoral events will not be permitted in the future. A statement from the President.
මෙවැනි සංදර්ශන සංවිධානය කරපු මිනිස්සුන්ට මඩුවල්ගෙන් ගහන්න ඕනේ කියලා මම නම් කියන්නේ.
Petroleum Minister promises that the people will reap the benefits of sliding global oil prices. Meethodumulla waste problem remains unresolved. Anger festers among area residents. Wastage of 40 million rupees on a school swimming pool in Madampe. Action TV investigates.
President Maithripala Sirisena says that immoral programs which mislead the youth will not be allowed in the future. The President was speaking at an event held in Ampara today.
Speaking at the 2015 All-Island Felicitation and Award Ceremony of Sunday School students at the DS Senanayaka National School in Ampara, President Sirisena stressed that he will not allow anyone or anything to harm the pride, culture and moral values of the country.
While there is an emergence of new technology, there is a deterioration in society which has forced us to constantly fight for what is right and wrong. Last week, a foreign singer performed at a concert in Colombo. The concert lasted for an hour. A ticket was priced at 5,000 to 50,000 rupees. Usually, when prices of little things increase, many blame the government for it. Those who purchased these tickets for 5,000 to 50,000 rupees paid the same amount once inside on drinks. As a Buddhist, these are things which cannot be left unsaid. If it is something which harms the country's culture, the good, the humanity and the values which we protect, then I will talk about it, regardless of whose feelings may be hurt. I will be criticized for this. I shouldn't be saying these things to these children gathered here, but neither should it be left unsaid. Within this hour, things reached a point of insanity where women took off their bras and threw them at the singer. This is the level of influence brandy, whiskey and arak has on people. There is a saying in the village, the people who organize such shows should be whipped with the tail of a stingray. That was how much this concert was out of control. When granting permission for such events to be held, the heads of state institutions must be aware of what this program is, what is happening here, is it for the good or the bad. Selling one's self-esteem is the lowest method of earning rupees and cents for a country. Speaking further, the President also announced that Sunday school teachers who have served for more than 10 years will be appointed as Justices of Peace from next year.
An expose on an alleged web terrorist was published on this Sunday edition of the Ceylon Today newspaper.
According to Ceylon Today, a so-called web terrorist is carrying out an operation which takes ransom by threatening to post news on their mudslinging websites about politicians, millionaire businessmen and many other persons. Ceylon Today reports that the main operator of this web ransom gang is a Sri Lankan lawyer by profession who is in hiding in London after fleeing Sri Lanka just ahead of his arrest over serious charges. The report states that the individual in question, who is accused of financial fraud, human trafficking and clandestine ties with the LTTE, had fled Sri Lanka and started living underground in London. The report reads further that defence authorities had informed Interpol about him and a photograph and his name is listed openly on the Interpol website as a wanted person. The report states that after migrating to London, this person first launched a website with the aim of continuing his business of ransom taking and had opened an account in TSB Bank, London. The report also states that this web terrorist opened an office down Vijayarama Road in Colombo in the guise of a legal office to carry on these operations. Ceylon Today further reports that information about several firms which network with the web terrorist group in London have been obtained and that they hope to publish information about them in the future.
Chandima Virakudi, the Minister of Petroleum Resources Development, says the people will soon reap the benefits of sliding global oil prices.
The Minister made this statement during a visit to a medical clinic in Imaduwa, Galle. As a country and as a nation, we should not go by a day-to-day lifestyle. We have to have a routine. But take fuel for example. The prices increase one day and decrease the next, and it becomes difficult for people to manage their day-to-day lives. No matter how much prices are reduced, we tend not to remember it. In 2014, the prices were reduced twice. Remember? The prices were also reduced in January, like it has never been decreased in the world before. Do you remember? The price of kerosene was decreased by 10 rupees through the budget. Remember? No? But when it increases, we remember that, because we feel it. Our women are vigilant about this. Nevertheless, we will do as much as we can for the people.
කෙසේ වෙතත් කරන්න පුළුවන් උපරිම දේ ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන් කරනවා.
The Joint Trade Union Alliance of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board says they have decided to launch an island-wide strike tomorrow morning.
Employees of the Water Board have been refraining from maintenance activities since last morning in protest against the reduction of their bonuses. Due to the protest of the Water Board employees over their bonuses, many consumers in certain areas lost their privilege of enjoying an uninterrupted supply of water. Residents of the Mirissa Udupita village are facing a scarcity of water due to the eruption of an underground water pipe at the Mirissa water pumping facility.
Whenever a particular season comes about, this problem arises. We either have no electricity or no water.
This is an area rich with tourism. We call the 1939 hotline of the Water Board, and they say since a strike action is in effect, the problem will not be restored. The eruption of a pipeline belonging to the National Water Supply and Drainage Board close to the Delgoda Kanduboda Meditating Centre opposite the Ayurveda Hospital has left the entire area without water.
We informed the engineer of the Water Board, and through the Grama Sevaka we informed the engineer of the problem, and he replied saying that he had informed the relevant people on the issue. It's been 4 days and no steps have been taken yet.
People in Chilau too had to suffer due to the scarcity of water caused by a leakage of a pipeline.
We do whatever we can with the little water we have.
Water is a necessity for the people, so as the public we do not approve such strikes which have been launched without prior notice. This problem has been there all along. We receive water bills but not water.
Employees of all workstations island-wide will refrain from their duties for a period of 3 hours from 9 am to 12 noon tomorrow. Accordingly, consumer-related activities will not take place, such as daily repairs and maintenance.
They are trying to gather more people by issuing false statements, but as far as I am concerned, I don't think they would be all that successful. The people do not have to worry about this strike because it is a very small group which is taking part in this. We have made all the required arrangements, so nothing will happen.
The Met Department is forecasting showers in excess of 100 millimeters in some parts of the country as a result of a disturbance in the atmosphere.
Intermittent showers or thunder showers can be expected in the northern, eastern, north, central, southern and over provinces. Northeast monsoonal winds can strengthen up to 50 km per hour at times over the eastern slopes of the central hills. A minor landslide situation has arisen in Samanalaga, Manhattan as a result of the rain. 12 houses have been affected. The Nuwara District Secretary has warned area residents to evacuate due to the prevailing risks.
With another headline-making story, up next is Action TV.
Swimming is an essential life skill and is one of the best exercises for physical and mental health. While competitive swimming is a popular sport, swimming is also used to promote the fitness of athletes in other sports. People living in close proximity to the sea or to reservoirs and lakes need only to allocate some time for swimming. In the absence of such natural sources, the construction of private or public swimming pools is viewed as a display of strength in society. Even in measuring the popularity of so-called popular schools in this country, people look at whether these schools have swimming pools and the scale of these swimming pools. Given the additional income that can be generated from a swimming pool, the heads of schools and organizations affiliated to schools show great enthusiasm towards the construction of such pools. In 2010, the Department of Sports Development laid the groundwork for a project to provide swimming pools with all modern facilities and amenities to selected schools across the island, covering all 9 provinces. The project was intended to promote the sport across the island and was not simply a leisure project. However, abandoned swimming pools at several major schools in the country give rise to the suspicion that the contractors selected by the department for this project may have built swimming pools for the purpose of leisure. The swimming pool at the Senanayaka National School in Madampe, Chilau is one example. The leisure time enjoyed by some people at this location has become a menace for people living around the school.
People come here and drink alcohol and discard the bottles. It has become a mosquito breeding ground. We have informed the Pradesh Sabha and the principal of the school to no avail.
The pool, constructed at a cost of 35 million rupees, was declared open on the 29th of July 2013 and was closed a few months later due to difficulties in filling up the pool with enough water to enable people to swim. But this was not due to the lack of a water supply. The pool has filled up with rainwater at present and is a haven for animals like frogs. A swimming coach living in the area warns that if this pool is abandoned any longer, millions of rupees will have to be spent to restore it.
As a result of the state it is in now, equipment worth hundreds of thousands of rupees like pumps, filters and cleaning machinery is just rotting away.
It is possible that this swimming pool may be part of the scheme that was used to portray a high allocation for the education sector through the 2016 budget. In order to restore this pool and bring it to a state where students can use it again, it is essential that the contractor be paid arrears amounting to 4.5 million rupees. Failure to pay this sum would result in public property worth 40 million rupees being wasted, a national crime. Minister of Sports, over to you.
Newsfirst has received information that teak farmers in the Hurloya scheme have fallen prey to dubious businessmen who are carrying out a racket with the compliance of officials of the Forest Conservation Department. Newsfirst correspondent BSCK Balasuriya investigated the matter.
Farmers in the Hurloya scheme commenced this teak plantation 18 years ago as an investment for the future, a cash crop that would deliver major returns. In 1998, the Forest Conservation Department allocated land for the teak plantation and even provided the farmers with saplings with the intention of giving the farmers to become millionaires in a short period of time. The farmers were told that we could only reap the benefits in 25 years and that this program is being initiated to transform the poor man into a millionaire. However, 5 years ago, before the 25 years were up, the farmers were instructed by forest conservation officials to cut down the trees in a section of the plantation. The farmers, who readily complied with dreams of becoming millionaires, saw their dreams shattered. When the second round came around, they said that farmers would receive large sums of money, but this did not happen. Forest conservation officers brought businessmen who purchased the lumber for very low prices. While farmers were forced to cut down several trees for the second time recently on the instructions of the forest conservation officials, the 25-year maturity period had not lapsed as yet. Forest conservation officials who aided the farmers in establishing the teak plantation are also assisting them in the sale of the timber by furnishing buyers. The farmers are now selling the timber for low prices to these businessmen against a backdrop where they have been warned by forest conservation officials against selling the wood to other buyers. They have told us that we cannot sell it to who we want and that this representative or this businessman is a registered contractor at the State Timber Corporation. 50 trees were marked in my plot and I was given 18,500 rupees for it. They cut down 75 trees in my plot and I only received 21,000 rupees. The forest conservation officials and the businessmen are running a racket here. The businessmen spent nights at the Forest Conservation Office. They spent 7,500 to 8,000 rupees for their dinner and for arak. But they only spent 21,000 rupees to buy 70 trees from our farmers. When they spend so much money on their food, we can only imagine the profits they must be making. The dream of becoming millionaires in 25 years is not the only thing these farmers have lost. Some farmers are yet to be paid the money they are owed for the
My father is old and we were the ones who planted and watched over the saplings in his plot. We were done a grave injustice. They surveyed the area and by morning they had loaded the timber and left.
While the forest conservation officers, timber businessmen and brokers add to their millions, these farmers who have toiled for years on this plantation can only look on in despair.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa attended an event held in Matara this afternoon.
Journalists questioned the former president on contemporary politics on the sidelines of a puja ceremony at the Sri Muthumariyamman Kovil in Mavarala, Matara.
These parties exist for people to go either way. Which party are they joining? A new party? Who said so? I am from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. Is there a better SLF peer than I in this country? I am the only SLF peer who has not crossed over.
Residents of Meethotamulla staged a demonstration today demanding for solutions to the long-standing garbage issue in the area.
The protesters charged that the garbage problem has caused many health hazards and has also damaged the reputation of the area. The demonstrators commenced a protest march demanding the representatives who were appointed by their wards to raise their voice over this issue. The protest march was ended at the entrance of the garbage disposal area as police barricades were placed in the area.
There is a conspiracy underway to expand this mound of garbage. We said this before. We said that this mound of garbage would cover the Kolonnava and Vallampitiya junctions. We were aware that the government would do this. What has happened? This letter was issued in May last year. This letter states that this mound of garbage will be expanded by another 3.5 acres, and in order to dump garbage for another 2 years, the government will demolish 180 houses to acquire more land. Is this good governance? This mound of garbage has now expanded up to 19 acres. We had not identified the places where the project was taking place, so we have put up paper notices calling for more proposals. Then we will do the project.
However, residents stated that they will continue their demonstration until the letter sent by the Prime Minister's office is withdrawn.
Now, speaking to Newsfirst, Western Provincial Councillor Sutil Kindelpitiya said that he is in talks with the relevant officials with the request of the people on the matter.
The problem of the landfill in Meethotamulla has come to a point where the people are staging a hunger strike. I spoke with Minister Faisal Mustafa regarding this matter, and after discussions with the Prime Minister, he informed me that the matter would be resolved swiftly. The people here are questioning a report that a letter was issued from the Prime Minister's office instructing for this landfill to be expanded by 3 acres. However, Minister Faisal Mustafa promised me, following discussions with the Prime Minister, that this problem would be resolved swiftly, and we expect that the initial decision from the Prime Minister's office will be reversed. The people will then call off their demonstration.
Speaking in Hambantota, the Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premdasa said that he has received information of a certain group who is involved in a racket of obtaining money from people, stating that they would provide them with houses. An event was held to declare open the Tissapura drinking water project for the residents of Kudagamma Nekulaha area in Hambantota.
A group of thieves and racketeers have commenced a racket of collecting money from people, saying that they would be provided with homes by using my name and signature. The people of our country were used to such things over the past 10 years. So I begin to wonder if these people, out of habit, are still under the impression that Sajid Premdasa would provide houses for the sake of money. It is in the name of God that I say to the entire country that I don't give relief through certain colleagues or henchmen. Whatever I give it according to the proper legal procedure. I myself have lodged a complaint and requested the Inspector General of Police to investigate this matter and bring these racketeers who are using my name to collect money and promising to give houses to justice.
While we mourn for those who lost their lives in the 2004 tsunami, it is imperative that we do not forget the plight of the survivors. News First received this report from Nicaragua.
Tsunami ne අපිට ඊට මේ මැරුණා නම් කියලා.
හැම කෙනාම ඇවිල්ලා බවා පෙන්නනවා.
This is the reality faced by 141 families in the tsunami-affected village of Dikkanda Sirikanduruwatta in Nicaragua. The village of Dikkanda, where the people resettled to carry on their livelihoods after the destruction caused by the tsunami, has turned into a mountain of misery. We were the people who were affected by the tsunami, and it has been 11 years since we have been tormented by it. We were caught by the tsunami, lost all our clothing, and are now here after losing everything. Our lives have been lost. We have not been given any assistance. The officials come and go. They come during the elections but disappear after that.
Not a single human being comes here. There is no way of going anywhere. Do you see the houses that we have got? No one comes here after seeing where we live. Small children cannot be looked after in these houses. If they stay, it is only for a week. They talk of shortcomings in the houses. Toilet facilities are not proper. There is no basic sanitation.
These people, having undergone the unimaginable terror of the tsunami, are still living in fear as the houses they live in appear to be at risk of collapsing.
There are innocent people in this village. They are simple fishermen. The houses are in dilapidated condition. We do not know when it will collapse.
11 years ago, when disaster struck, it came without warning. But at present, these families are living under the shadow of death, in fear that their shelters may become their tombs.
Vehicular movement on the Mathura-Colombo main road has been disrupted owing to a fallen tree in the Baligama area. Police has requested drivers to use alternate routes. Meanwhile, the post-mortem examinations on the 4 persons killed in a road accident that occurred in Udukumura Nelumdaniya on the Colombo-Kandy road last night were conducted today.
The accident occurred when an oncoming tipper truck transporting sand collided with a parked van, which resulted in the van toppling off the road along with the tipper truck. 4 persons were killed in the accident, and the post-mortem examination revealed that 2 deaths were caused by the swallowing of sand. 2 people who were injured in the accident are receiving treatment at the Kegol Hospital. The National Council for Road Safety says that the number of deaths of pedestrians caused by indisciplined drivers has increased this year. Pedestrians are the ones who become victims of most accidents. Yesterday's accident is one example. 659 pedestrians were killed in 2014. This year, 726 pedestrians have been killed. Most deaths were caused by 3-wheelers and motorbikes. One of the main causes of these accidents is driving without following road signs or not adhering to speed limits. 2,337 deaths were reported in 2,171 fatal accidents reported last year. According to the National Council for Road Safety, 2,642 lives were lost in 2,453 accidents from January to December this year. Together with the Department of Motor Traffic, we are planning on initiating a program to educate 3-wheel drivers and motorcycle riders. They should undergo this program before obtaining their license. This will be implemented from next year. Through this, we hope to turn these drivers into law-abiding, disciplined drivers.
A child who has been deprived of the protection of his parents has become a victim of abuse at the hands of his guardians in Angaruwapata, Horana. This 8-year-old boy had lost his father and had been living with his aunt as his mother had gone abroad for employment. It was brought to the attention of the Angaruwapata police that this boy's aunt had burnt his hands as punishment for removing an ornamental fish from a fish tank. Police had acted to admit the child to hospital and to produce his aunt in court. Well, today is the final day of the Splash 2015 Trade Exhibition and Carnival, which is taking place at the Kandy City Centre. Newsfirst is the media sponsor of the event.
A large crowd flocked to Splash 2015 today as well. Many fun games and activities were organised at the Splash 2015 Trade Exhibition and Carnival at the KCC. Splash 2015 comprises of over 100 trade stalls and has a separate area with fun activities dedicated for children. Several famous singers also performed at the event this evening.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of News First Weekend. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.